Office Audiology. Book your free consult today at connecthearing.com.au.
The US president says it is time for the countries to stand up to gun lobby and tighten rules following another deadly school shooting. 19 students are dead after an 18-year-old gunman opened fire at an elementary school in Texas. But Joe Biden will face the same battle as those who've tried before him. Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz is already pushing back against stricter gun controls, saying what's needed is more armed police on school grounds.
We are seeing way too many of these horrific mass murders, and we need to devote far more law enforcement resources to stopping violent criminals, to preventing these kind of absolute acts of evil.
Police say a BMW station wagon torched at Woodville West early this morning had been used to break into a clothing store at Burnside Shopping Centre. The smash and grab occurred at about 4 a.m. with a large amount of clothes stolen. Around an hour later, the car was found alight in the western suburbs. It had been stolen from a house in Fairford Street at Unley overnight. Another 1.5 million Australians are eligible for a fourth dose of a COVID vaccine. Australia's peak immunisation body has recommended those with an underlying health condition or disability receive the injection. Interim Health Minister Katie Gallagher is urging people to check their eligibility.
The idea behind expanding the criteria really has been to ensure that people who are at greatest risk of severe infection are protected, and the reason why it hasn't been expanded more across the general population is based on evidence.
Almost 4,000 new COVID cases have been reported in SA today and one more death. There are 236 people in hospital, including 10 in ICU. New Treasurer Jim Chalmers says there is no point mincing words about Australia's economic and budget situation. Labor is dealing with high debt and deficit, mainly as a result of massive spending during COVID-19. But rising cost of living along with stagnant wages will also impact on the nation's finances. Mr Chalmers says it'll be a big challenge to steady the ship.
We are inheriting a very serious set of economic and budget challenges. And there's no use mincing words about that or tiptoeing around the serious nature of the economic challenges that the new Albanese Labor government is inheriting from our predecessors.
The head of the European Commission says the bloc could use frozen Russian assets to fund the Ukraine reconstruction. While addressing the World Economic Forum, Ursula von der Leyen has suggested the war is putting the international order into question. She says the EU will combine reform with investment.
We will, hand in hand, help Ukraine rise from the ashes. As President Zelensky said, the work that has to be done is colossal. But together, we can and we will master the challenge.
Now turning to 5AA Sport. Crows veteran Taylor Walker has been ruled out of Saturday's game against Geelong due to COVID. Young gun Josh Rochelle will also miss the clash as he recovers from a corked thigh. Assistant coach Scott Burns says the 19-year-old needs a rest.
We'll give Josh a breather. He's done terrifically well, Josh, to come in from round one. Probably see just slightly tapering off, a few more knocks, a few more hits. So it's in his best interest probably to have a little bit of a breather this week.
Meanwhile, Western Bulldogs will welcome back Tim English for Saturday night's battle against West Coast. The ruckman has missed the past 5 rounds due to a hamstring injury and then spent several days in hospital due to illness. And in tennis, Aussie John Millman has gone down swinging after being knocked out of the French Open. Millman took aim at the decision to ban Russians and Belarusian players from Wimbledon.
Well, I have a problem with unilateral decision making. I have a problem with lack of communication. Player council, player reps on the board hadn't been consulted until after the decision was even made.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Torrensville, urgent sewer works Henley Beach Road near Clifford Street. West Croydon, manhole cover missing on Port Road near East Avenue. Take extra care through there. Crayfors West, fog and rain on the freeway both directions. So drive to the conditions if you're heading that way. And Door Park gas connection works Dawes Road near Francis Street. Got a camera too. Anderson Walk at Smithfield Plains. Watch Colin Firth and Tony Collette in the new drama series The Staircase, based on the thrilling true story of a crime that shocked the world. Stream The Staircase now on Binge. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Ken Hall Electricians, your local experienced electricians for power points, smoke alarms and more. Give Ken a call.
Showers this afternoon 19, showers tomorrow 19, Friday a possible shower 18 and Saturday showers continuing 17. Right now it's 17. Now let's hear what's
Tragedy in
happening
Texas,
online
the primary
tonight.
school massacre that has the world asking why the US won't act on gun control. Commuter cut-off, a city road to be closed, drivers inconvenienced for months, all for one festival event. Why over 1 million more Aussies are eligible for a fourth COVID jab. Plus the future of air travel, Jetstar's new fleet revealed. I'm Brenton Braglis. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
$13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Hello, welcome to Tech Talk.
5AA Tech Talk with Richard Pascoe.
And it's a good afternoon to Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers, your technology specialist. How are you this afternoon?
I'm very good, thanks. Wouldn't it be funny if Anthony Albanese flew back into Australia today and the Australian Electoral Commission greeted him at the airport and said, bit of a problem, we mucked everything up, you're actually not the Prime Minister. So
I don't think he'd find the funny side.
No.
Somehow.
No.
And he can be a little bit grumpy. On his first press conference the other day, he snapped at the media because they were all like shouting questions and he said, oh, don't be doing that, and put them, like, gave them a bit of a dad moment.
Exactly.
So I think he'd do the same thing if he got off the plane and found out that he wasn't PM. Anywho, let's go straight into it because we've got lots of phone calls. And if you'd like to ask Richard Pascoe a question about tech, 8223 0000 is the number. Joe has called in from Netherby. Hi, Joe.
Hello.
Hi, Joe.
Hello there. I'm just wondering, I have an iPhone and an iPad that are synced. They weren't synced originally, but they are now.
Good.
And why don't some emails go into my trash column when I don't send them there? And this has happened since February 2021. You
haven't rushed into calling me, have you, Joe?
No, but I didn't know that was happening for a while until I couldn't find things. And I thought, I'll just go through all the trash and the spam and all that. And they were, sometimes it might be 2 or 3. I've got one here on the 17th of the 5th.
Right.
And 14 went in to the trash column.
Okay. So, Joe, which one works, the iPhone or the iPad?
What do you mean? They both happens together.
They're both dumping them in the trash together, are they?
Yes.
So it's exactly the same. So who's your email provider?
OptusNet.
OptusNet. I would check the settings with Optus to make sure that they match what should be on your iPad and your iPhone.
Right.
That'd be the first thing I would do.
Right, because I have a computer as well, where there's two sections on the computer. I also get emails, but I don't have a trash column there. So if I sorry, Joe. So what I do is I would open the ones up on the computer. I'd have a look at the computer settings, and make sure they all match what you've got on your iPhone and your iPad. Right.
All right. So, make sure if they're all POP accounts. And Optus,
POP accounts, okay.
POP, so it's either POP or IMAP, but Optus don't give you, let's say, that much that you can store on their servers. So sometimes they're not one of the best when it comes to emails.
Right. Okay.
But make sure all your settings match on all of them. All right?
Thank you, Joe. This is a funny one from Tony. Jade, can you ask Richard, if I text back to the package scammers with some gems of wisdom concerning their horrid lifestyle, do my text get through? I'd just like to share some biblical text. Don't we all feel like doing that?
We would, yes.
But what happens?
Is that go forth and multiply?
Mm-hmm. Well, is that what happens? Is that like putting your hand up to say, hi, I'm here?
It would go straight to a computer. I would not do that at all. All right.
But if it makes you feel good, Tony, keep it up.
Exactly right.
Hello, Dennis. Welcome to the show.
How you going?
Really?
Good. Richard, I've got a question in regards to the little language translating devices you can get.
Right.
I'm moving overseas in a few weeks, and
Where
I was just wondering, to France.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's awful, isn't it?
Well done, Dennis. So you've done all the right things. You've watched every episode of Hello, haven't you?
Not yet. No.
Right, you've got. That's how you learn French, Dennis.
I've got to. Oh well, I've got a catching up to do apparently. Yeah. So yeah, my French is not very good, and yeah, obviously I'll enrol in lessons when I'm over there.
Yeah.
But just in the meantime, to get day by day kind of duties, I've been looking at these devices online, but no one's held them in Adelaide to actually get a feel for how they work or etc. I was just wondering if you knew much about it.
What phone have you got, Dennis?
I've got a Oppo at the moment.
Yes.
And I've got Google Translator on it, and also downloaded another app, but it was a bit patchy when I was over there last.
Right.
So I was just wondering if these other translating devices are a better option, or just stick it out with the Google Translator.
I'd be sticking it out with Google Translate. I find they work really well. I had a 45-minute conversation with a man from China who did not know one word of English.
Okay.
And we literally conversed back and forth for 45 minutes brilliantly.
Yeah, okay. Is that because I found I had issues when I was offline as well, and it just couldn't, so if I was trying to type, it just couldn't pick up languages and that's why I was looking for something that even worked offline a bit better. But if you're saying Google Translate's the best...
Yeah, I think it is the best one to go along and use. And I think you can go along and download like all the French to your device.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis, and good luck. All right, give us a call from France.
Yeah, have fun. I will.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.
And we go to Steve in Birkenhead. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Au revoir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Richard, I've got a 10-year-old, well, might be 12-year-old laptop, and we've got a message from Google saying on May 30 we may lose access to apps because our technology is a bit old.
Yep.
If we don't do that, someone told us we'll lose our email if we don't maybe move to Outlook 2019 or Office 365. Would that be right?
Well, it's got nothing to do with Google. So so what Office program are you using at the moment? How old is it?
Oh, it has to be 10, 12 years old.
Well, is it Office 10 or Office 07?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
07's having some real issues out there. Google, you can go into the settings. If you just Google, Google won't support third-party apps on there. There's some settings that you can change in the back end of Google. But, 12 years old, Steve, you really should probably look at starting to buy something new.
Yes, okay. Okay, mate, so just go into Google and what, sorry?
You do a search for Google won't support third-party apps, and it'll tell you how to turn on those settings. It's manage third-party apps and services with access to your account. So if you go in there and it will explain to you, go into the security settings of your Google account, and it will get you to turn certain things off. Then those things should work for you. All right?
Thanks, Steve. Let's head now to Sandy in Littlehampton. Hi, Sandy.
Yeah, hi, Joe. Hi, Richard. Richard, look, it's doing my head in, I'm sure, with everybody else as well. I'm with Telstra, and I have a Samsung, is it Android phone?
Yes.
It's a normal, everyone, it's a good little phone.
Yeah.
But I am almost on a daily basis getting phone call, messages or phone calls, and when the phone rings, it highlights suspected spam.
Yeah.
So I ignore it.
Good.
And then, on the list, once it's on my callers list, I delete it.
Yep.
But then I get these also messages that come through. For instance, the other day, which was at first, that came through that it had a whole list of numbers there. I didn't realise one of my numbers was on that list. After a little while, I got this message saying, well, what do you think? And I thought, what? And I text back saying, well, who are you?
Yep.
I don't know what this text is about. And they said, well, your number's on the list. And I looked at it, and sure, it wasn't there. It was there. So, they say that you can block it, so I pull down the thing that says block.
Honestly, Sandy, you're wasting... Sorry, Sandy, Yeah, you're wasting your time blocking them. I wouldn't bother blocking it. I mean, I don't know how many calls I get a day, and I only really answer the ones that, I know of. I don't answer any interstate calls because they'll leave a message on it. I've got basically everybody from interstate who's on radio I know their phone number straight away when it comes up. It is hard, it's frustrating for people, but it's just something we've got to ride out at the moment. And I know the telcos are trying to do their best to block all of these, but it's a bit like playing whack-a-mole at the moment.
It is so frustrating. Oh, they get to you. And we were talking about, those dodgy SMSs, leading into the election last week, those stupid messages from the Australian Party saying something about the medical system. And 30 seconds after talking about it on radio, ping, my phone, I got it.
Yeah.
What is going on there? Who's listening?
It's coincidence.
Do you think?
It's coincidence.
We're going to take a short break if you'd like to talk tech. 8223 0000.
At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free, no deposit finance from Latitude and receive a bonus gift card up to $1,000. Shop furniture, bedding, computers and technology, TVs and entertainment and more. That's 60 months interest-free, no deposit, no interest from Latitude with 60 approximately equal monthly payments and receive a bonus gift card up to $1,000. Finance only available if you have or are approved for a participating Latitude credit card. Minimum finance amount $1,000. See T's and C's. Interest applies for non-compliance. Fees and product exclusions apply. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go! Let's get business back on track. Let's reopen and rebuild, rehire and regrow. If you're looking to make up for lost ground, Judo Bank is ready to support Australian businesses recovering from the pandemic. So whatever your business is longing to get back to, talk to your broker or a Judo banker about an SME recovery line today. Judo Bank, boldly backing business.
Eligibility criteria, fees, charges and terms and conditions apply. Visit judo.bank.
An FIVEAA community has so many of the amenities you're looking for in retirement living and a special sense of belonging that residents say you'll feel right away. Share your passions and interests with like-minded people. Discover new friendships and live life to the fullest, all in the safety and comfort of a place that's more than just your home. It's your community. This winter, come along and feel the warmth of an FIVEAA retirement community. With 15 across Adelaide, there's sure to be one you'll warm to. Search FIVEAA First Step to book a discovery tour.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
Introducing the Wheels Car of the Year, the fully electric Kia EV6. Leading the charge with over 500 kilometres of driving range, newfound levels of technology, performance, build quality, refinement and luxury. The judges were unanimous. The Kia EV6, Wheels Car of the Year. To find out more, visit kia.com.au.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Hello, I'm Susie Ellman, broadcaster and a Connect Hearing client and ambassador, and I'm asking the team what they think makes Connect Hearing so special.
We listen to our clients and take the time to help you understand your hearing loss, so you get what you need, exactly tailored to your lifestyle.
That's gold, and that's why Connect Hearing's been awarded gold from FIFO for consistent high-quality service. For gold service audiology, book your free consult at connecthearing.com.au.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
And we're talking tech with Richard Pascoe, thanks to Harvey Norman Computers, your technology specialist. Let's go to Judith in Paraka. Hi, Judith. Welcome to the show.
Hi. How are you?
Really good, thank you. What would you like to talk about today?
Well, I'd like to ask Richard a couple of questions, please.
You fire away, Judith.
Okay, thanks, Richard. I have an iPad. What is it there? It's a iPad Air.
Yes.
And I've also got an iPhone 8 Plus.
Yep.
Right. Now, on my iPad, it only supports 12.5.5.
Yeah, it's time for another one, Judith.
Oh, no, I can't upgrade that?
No.
That was my basic question, because my phone has got 15.4.1, and I'm getting some things now that need 12.62. You know.
No, they need 15.5.
Oh,
sorry, Judith. And Judith, if you order it today, they're in really short supply. You probably won't get it until July.
There you go.
that right?
Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's incredible,
Sorry,
isn't it?
There's
Everything.
a real shortage at the moment of iPads.
Let's talk to Sue. Hi, Sue.
Hi. Hello, Jane. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Sue.
When you're online doing something and, for instance, it preempts your name and your address, and that's fine when you're shopping and what have you.
Yeah.
But when I go into my online banking, it's preempting my account number,
and
but
password.
not my customer number.
Right.
But it's the wrong number. I would like to completely delete that preempt from popping up, because I feel if anyone else got hold of my laptop, it's giving them an idea what the number
Yeah, spot on, Sue. Yeah.
Maybe.
So what are you using, Google Chrome or Edge?
Chrome, Google Chrome.
Right, so if you go into the settings of Google Chrome,
Yeah.
and then there is a password part in there, and you'll
Yeah.
literally see what your bank one will be down there. So it's all the passwords you've got saved, and there are
Right.
three dots to the right of it, and if you go and click on that, it'll have remove. That's all you have to do.
Oh, right. Okay, great.
All right.
Thanks so much. Cheers,
Thanks, Sue.
Richard.
Thanks for asking that question, Sue, because I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'll do that tonight.
It's good.
Go 4 over, 3 little dots,
Just remove it.
delete.
Yes, delete.
All right, we've got Peter from Inglewood joining us, and if you've got a question for Richard, 82230000 is the number. Hello, Peter.
Hi, how are you? I'm great.
Oh,
It's
good.
cold
I
up
loved
here.
hearing that.
That's good, Peter. Is it raining much up there at Inglewood?
It has been raining all afternoon, yes.
Well, it's good.
But my question is, a lot of money wasted on voting and people being sick and all that type of thing.
Yes.
How does this electronic voting work? Is it good or bad?
I don't think we'll see it because we don't have faith that it can't be altered.
Yeah,
AKA
right.
hacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
so.
we'll
So
see
that
it, no.
everybody would complain, Peter, that if there was a booth or something that suddenly had, let's say Labor seat, and then we have an 8% swing to the Liberals, and it wasn't picked, then they'd want to go right through every vote for it, Peter.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it, and we've got to make sure that it's you voting. So there's got to be like a key code for you to vote that triggers off the key code on the other end, and nobody ever wants to do that sort of thing.
Well, there was a big investigation in the US, wasn't there, after, into Trump's election?
Yeah.
And, Russia being blamed and
Well,
China
we
being
know
blamed.
we know Russia and China did it. Let's be honest,
Well-
just between us.
Yeah. And then so those satellites tuning in that have just pinged right now.
Exactly
sure,
right,
Sure.
yes.
Now, you've had quite a few call-outs this week in regards to scams that, unfortunately, we talk about it so much, but they get cleverer and cleverer each,
But they're not getting cleverer. The people just aren't listening.
Well, I'm trying to make people feel better about themselves that are falling victim to it, because they can suck us in.
No, we've got to get brutal here now. We
Okay,
really do.
talk
I hate
tough.
to say this. If somebody rings you up
Mm-hmm.
and goes along and says, I need you, Jade, to log onto your computer because we're going to help stop the hackers.
No.
No is the answer to that.
Okay,
we
test
do
me again. I'm getting good
not
at this.
do this. It's not Telstra ringing up. It's not. And then they'll go along and say, problem with your banking, Jade. We need to actually, can you just help us? Can you log on to your bank right now? No. And what frightens me is, I've got to go and see somebody later on today. We're on the phone to these people for 2 hours, and it took 2 hours for the penny to drop.
Whoa, 2 hours?
2 hours.
That's a good attention span. Mine only lasts about 30 seconds.
30 seconds on there as well. So, what I'm saying is, we've seen lots of ads. We've got Scam Watch out there. The E-Safety Commissioner, it's not getting through.
What was scamming them for 2 hours?
It's all about getting details out, logging onto their banks, getting them to pay some money, getting into bank accounts, shutting them all down. We've really got to start to wise up. And the analogy I always use, if I came to see you and went, Jade, wonderful to see you. Right? I'm at the home. Can you go and stand on the front lawn for an hour so I can have a look around your house? You'd never do it.
No, you wouldn't.
You
so
wouldn't
why
do
do we do it?
Why would you let somebody onto your computer with the most intimate details of your lives? People, stop doing this.
There is a really good question there. Why do we? Like, what is it a part of us? Like we grow up learning about stranger danger.
Yeah.
You know, people that break into your home. You know, is that person a bit of a weirdo? Are they going to be, you know, mean to me or whatever? We've been grown up to have these alert systems, but yet when it comes to our
it's a
personal
computer. You log on the computer. It's fine,
bizarre, isn't it?
You know, if I'm going to help protect the security of the nation, not a problem at all. You're not protecting the security of the nation. People, stop doing it. And the banks will shut your accounts down, and then you've got to get somebody in like me to go along, give you a clean bill of health, you know, on your devices, just to make sure everything's okay.
Heather wants to know, can you tell me if it would be better to use 5G offered by Telstra Store or stay with NBN? We're at Evanston Park.
If you've got a great 5G connection, like it's what I'm using at the moment, I don't mind you swapping to 5G. So if you've got somebody with a 5G phone and they come to your place, you've got 5 bars on there, go for it. I'm getting 1.2 gig down, which is great, and I think 300 meg up. I've got a super fast connection. Interesting that NBN want to jack all the prices up at the moment. So there's a big price hike because they need to make money. But
enough already. Everything's going up. They're going to charge me to breathe soon.
Exactly right. However, it's just come out in the last couple of days that NBN are expecting a 6-figure customer exodus this year to fixed wireless, which is the 5G on there.
Wow,
so that they estimate that 4G and 5G will be responsible for taking 250,000 customers off the NBN. The penny starts to drop now about why they want to go along and put the price up. Instead of improving the service and doing the right thing,
keeping people,
we jack the price up to try and compensate for that loss of customers.
Well, they should go and talk to Netflix, shouldn't they?
Should too.
Now, antivirus, mine's just run out actually quite recently. I don't know if they all run out around the same time, but it seems you're getting a lot of questions about antiviruses. What's your opinion and what should you do?
This is actually up on the website right now. If you've got a current antivirus on, then you don't want, you want to move it, want to remove it, you've got to use the uninstall tool, which is supplied by the antivirus maker. So you've got to run that because that gets rid of all of the antivirus. If you're on Windows and you just suddenly go along and use the add remove programs or from the apps to uninstall, it leaves a bit of a residue behind, which means your next antivirus won't run properly or Windows Defender won't run properly. So, go along, make sure that you've run the antivirus tool. I'll put links up on my website for that. What's always funny to me is when I go along and give my list of antiviruses I loathe, and people know this, Avast, FIVEAA, AVG, which everybody knows if they listen to this segment, McAfee, Kaspersky, as a new one I'm going to add to the list called Total AV. If you've got it on your computer, get rid of it.
Why are they hopeless?
It's terrible. A terrible program that interferes with the whole running of Windows.
Okay. So what would you recommend then?
I'd recommend sticking with Defender, which is free, or Norton or Trend, because it doesn't interfere with Windows, and that's the sort of thing we want. But Total AV, I've given instructions about how to remove it. If it's on your phone, please get rid of it. You don't need it on your phone; it's not doing anything.
So so if you want to look at those instructions, you just jump on your website,
AdelaideTechGuide.com.au.
So Defender's free.
Yeah, it comes with Windows 10. It's free. If you can't afford it, it's a bit like a lawyer. If you can't afford one will be supplied for you. It's like the public defender.
Very good. Thank you so much for coming in. Always a hoot talking with you. Richard Pascoe, thanks to Harvey Norman Computers, your technology specialists.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. 19 children and 2 teachers are dead after a school shooting in Texas. The 18-year-old gunman was also killed. Another 1.5 million Australians are eligible for a 4th dose of a COVID vaccine. The Prime Minister is on his way back to Australia after a quick visit to Tokyo for the annual Quad meeting. And Crows veteran Taylor Walker has been ruled out of Saturday's game against Geelong due to COVID. Showers this afternoon, 19. Currently, it's 16 degrees. More news at 4 o'clock and as it happens on 5AA.
Adelaide, you're going to love what the team at Edwardstown Mazda have in store for you during their end of financial year sale. Drive away in the versatile CX-30 from $33,297 and the all-new CX-5 from $36,209 drive away. Looking for something small, medium or large? Edwardstown Mazda have most models in stock ready to drive away during their end of financial year sale on now. LMBD 207428.
Hi, Susanna Toop here. Tenants, you're going to love this. Toop & Toop now gives you early access to rental properties up to 2 months before public release, with alerts direct to your inbox. Find your next home sooner. Register now at toop.com.au/rent.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you'll receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
Do you want fresh filtered water flowing through your home? Choose a system by Complete Home Filtration. Joining me from Complete Home Filtration is Suzanne Dodds, who incidentally won the Telstra 2022 Business Awards. So what's the benefits of filtered water, Suzanne?
Well, the benefits of filtering water for the whole home mean that you don't just enjoy filtered water for drinking, but for showering and bathing as well. So people see big differences in softer skin, softer hair, unlimited bottled water, quality water from every tap.
That sounds great. So where can we purchase one?
You can just jump online and go to completehomefiltration.com.au.
That's completehomefiltration.com.au.
Taste, feel, see the difference.
Ladies, do you feel like your entire day revolves around your bladder? Caruso's Wee-Less relieves the annoying and inconvenient feeling that you need to go to the bathroom too often and supports bladder health and function. So if you want to help control the urge and regain your bladder confidence, try Caruso's Wee-Less today. Caruso's Wee-Less is made in Australia and comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health food stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Feeling the burn? Save cash with Cheap as Chips Hot Buys.
Cheap as Chips.
Lynx or Rexona deodorant, a hot buy at 2 for $6.50. 4-pack Dove soap, a scorching $3.99 per pack. Radiant Laundry 2-kilo powder or 2-litre liquid, blazing $6.99 each. And Nescafe 210-gram coffee, steaming hot, $5.99 each. Check out this week's catalogue for more hot buys in store and online. Save cash and live cheaper with Cheap as Chips Hot Buys now.
$13.95. Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Welcome to Afternoons with Jade Robran on 5AA. This Wednesday, May 25. It is 3:35. Coming up after 4 o'clock, it's Rowey Sports Show. He'll join us shortly to tell us what's happening. And earlier in the show, we were talking about how the SA Tourism and also the government are putting around $40 million into a big marketing budget to try and get some visitors from overseas here visiting South Australia. It was an $8 billion booming business prior to COVID, and there are still a lot of businesses that are hurting out there. So we're going to try and get the overseas people back here. And I put a question out: where's your favourite place to go? What do you love to go and do and see and visit here in South Australia? I've got a couple of cinema passes to give away if you want to join the show and tell me what your favourite part of South Australia is. We've got a message here from Sharon in Hallett Cove. Hi Jade, my happy place in SA is Wallaroo. I haven't been there, but sounds wonderful, and I would love to hear more from you guys. Where do you love to go? What do you like to do? My happy place is on the Murray River. Just a little, 2-hour drive, and the mighty Murray. The kids have just discovered it too. They've just learnt how to kneeboard and ski biscuit. Haven't got up on the skis yet, but that's my little favourite place to go. Well, as we know, yesterday the state lifted the pandemic emergency declaration, which raised an interesting question for me regarding COVID vaccinations and what that means for mandatory vaccinations in the workplace. Joining me is Tim Downey, practice leader at Johnston Withers Lawyers. Tim, thanks for joining the program. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jade. Thank you for having me.
Well, under the emergency declaration, that controlled vaccine mandates, did it not?
Yes, under the emergency laws, as they were called, the police commissioner, Grant Stevens, made many directions. So in the end, there were, there were sort of 20 or 30 directions, I think. And within those directions, there were very specific directions about, for example, vaccinations within SAPOL and vaccinations within the public service generally, within health settings, quarantines, arrivals, voting, you name it. Anything you could think of was covered in those directions. So that's now all of those powers that he had to do that, and in a sense, the directions themselves have now, they've come to an end, if you like, or they're elapsed.
So now that they have been lifted, what does that mean moving forward?
Yeah, so what they did is, in terms of the directions that were still really relevant, so to give you an example, like on the 4th of March, there was no longer a direction to vaccinate members of SAPOL, all right? So that ended on the 4th of March. So really there's no change because that direction had already ceased. But of course there are still some directions. As we know, you've got to wear masks on a bus. What else is there? The healthcare workers or workers that predominantly work in a health setting, which include, of course, private public hospitals and aged care facilities, they still have to be mandatorily vaccinated. And in order to continue with those directions, they've drafted it's a Public Health Amendment Act, is the name of it. It came into force, I think, officially yesterday. And what that act does, if you like, is that sort of mops up and collects and grabs all of the current directions that were still in force and puts them into that law. All right? So it doesn't mean that any of those current directions, doesn't mean that they all just go away. A lot of those current directions still continue through the operation of that act, but it's more like a normal law, if that makes sense, rather than directions under emergency law. So what are the sort of things, for example, the emergency management direction, which was number 7, which directed that healthcare workers or hospital workers had to be vaccinated, that's still in force, and that's going to be picked up by the Act, all right, the amended Act. And so the change really is, if you like, at the end of this period, or, it was, to be very specific about it, was about 5:30 on Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
Grant Stevens' powers were ended, so he could no longer make any more directions himself. So that came to an end. Or anything that was still applicable, if you like, to COVID, mask wearing in certain sectors and close contact rules and all of that, they've just gone into another law. All right? So it probably doesn't, Jade, really make much difference to the person in the street, to be honest.
Okay.
I think that, if you like, the status quo really remains as it was on, Sunday before this happened. The major difference is, of course, going forward, the police commissioner now is unable to, just come up with a new direction on a whim. That would obviously, that'd have to go back through Parliament, if you like. So there'd be differences around how directions can be made in the future. So you wouldn't expect to see any more significant, well, I wouldn't expect to see any more significant directions or rules as it is. So I think going forward it will all change, but really we've had that gradual change, haven't we? Because we've gone from what were, at one point really serious rules. We couldn't leave the house.
Well, that's right. Yeah, of course. Well, but I mean, earlier today we saw the SANFL, they've removed their competition vaccine policy. So can you just clarify for us, so non-government employers can they now make a decision for themselves whether they need their employees to be vaccinated or not? I mean, I'm guessing a lot of them would have lent on the fact that the government were mandating it, whereas now that has somewhat been eased. So where does that leave them?
Yeah, well, what the AFL's done is what everyone, I suspect, or all sensible, depends on where you sit on it, but all sensible employers probably need to move to that now. I think it was always accessible on a case-by-case basis. If you were a person working from home and you had contact with absolutely no one but the postman from a distance, then it was always hard to argue that you should have had a compulsory mandate to vaccinate, because who were you going to affect?
Yeah, sure.
And that was sort of like this it was just a spectrum, if you like, of people who were giving out the injections, seeing 1,000 people a day. Well, they clearly needed to be vaccinated right down to the other extreme. So there's probably not difficult, but other than, say, a Qantas, an airline, I'm thinking, that's just an example that comes to my head. I think it's really hard now for an employer to argue that they have to compel someone to be vaccinated. I think because it's not going to be in any employment contract. It probably is not in an enterprise agreement. So otherwise, it's got to be a lawful and reasonable direction, and that's accessible by the law. So I think it's by the court. Sorry, I should say. So I think it is hard to see going forward now that you could really argue that you're going to compel someone to have an injection, a vaccine injection. So.
Well, it's very interesting for all those that have lost their jobs or are being told to stand down because they don't want to be vaccinated. Where does that stand moving forward now? If that's still, going through the courts or going through the courts, do they all of a sudden change their views on that? This is really interesting landscape right now. Yeah, and look, there was the Denny Van Hagen case, the female Crows player, and she had. There were a group of them, teacher and a police officer and so forth, that did go all the way to the Supreme Court. I think that decision's still pending, to be honest. I'm happy to be corrected. I haven't been able to find that decision's been made on them. But yes, I think that if you were someone, for example, even now, if you're employed in any industry, for example, and you're now told you can't come to work, you have to be vaccinated, I think that person's got a pretty good argument if they were terminated. Because it's probably more difficult now to argue that it's reasonable. You've got a massive uptake of vaccination across the general population. So really, they're probably more putting themselves at risk than anyone else, if that makes sense. So I think we've probably seen, the end of that broad compulsory vaccination. Now, I'm happy to be corrected. I'm sure for instance, in the airline industry, I suspect Qantas still have that policy. I'm not sure whether they're maintaining it or not, and I could understand why they would still want the policy. But gee, just anecdotal, by reference to my friends, just about everyone I know has had COVID already. So it's gone through the general population to such an extent that I wonder now if people in the general community are all that concerned about it. Yeah, interesting. Thank you, Tim Downey, practice leader there at Johnston Withers Lawyers. Let's go now to David. He's called in to tell us where his happy place is. Hi, David.
Hello, how are you?
Really good.
My happy place is the York Peninsula, Port Vincent.
Oh, me too.
I live in the city and I've worked all my life. I've only just retired and I'd be lucky to get over to the holiday home maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks a year spread over.
Yes.
But now I'm retired, I just get away over there, sit under a tree and have a glass of beer, and it's quiet, one street away from the beach, and the people are so friendly. Everybody knows you, and as you're driving, they all wave to you. Once you get down the York Peninsula, as they go past, they just lift their hand up. And it's a friendly little town.
Oh, it's just beautiful. It is one of my favourites, that's for sure. And how good are the hot cinnamon donuts from the kiosk, just quietly?
Oh, yes. That's a regular one.
Oh, that is the
coffee.
breakfast of champions down there in the morning, and a cup of coffee. The kids are swimming out on the pontoon, having a great time. Me and Ben are sitting there stuffing our faces.
I hope I see you over there one day.
You may.
Yeah, because, well, I'm back in the city now, but we always try to get over there now at least once a month for a few days.
Oh, we've got some good friends that live just close by in Millicent, and then they've got their farmers, and then they have their holiday shacks there in Port Vincent. It's God's country.
Oh, and my ex-business partner, his house is right next door.
Oh,
he's
truly?
had for 40-odd years in the family. So I'm Hill and he's Brown, and the kids call it the Brown Hill Estate.
I love it. Oh, good for you. Stay on the line, David, and I will flick you a couple of tickets to Wallace Cinemas, and you can check out the session times at wallace.com.au. Thank you so much for calling in, and we'll have a beer at the pub down there one day. Dot messaged in very close to Port Vincent. In fact, my happy place is Port Hughes. Have been going each January for 16 years now with children and grandchildren. Dot, I love that, and there's so many of those stories all along the coast there of beautiful spot right there next to Moonta, and close to Wallaroo there, where our other person who called in, Dougie's given me another message, Dougie from Wollonga. Need to get your favourite Albo tune. No, hole in my bucket. Dougie, you are a hole in my bucket at the moment, reminding me of this song every single day. I love your little cheeky sense of humour, though. We are going to take a very short break. Coming up afterwards, more on afternoons. And also Rowey, who is he's in next door on a very important phone call. Lots happening in the world of sport. We'll come back very shortly.
Win big bucks weekdays on 5AA with Rowey's sports show Mystery Moment. Thanks to Barrow Hotels. For the perfect meal, head to a Barrow Hotel, the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior or Sundowner in Whyalla.
This is the sound of Julian's bargain price vacuum with deep express suction. This is the sound of Julian trying to fix his bargain price vacuum, which infuriates him deeply. Yes, this is the sound of bargain regret. When it comes to the important stuff, like insurance, don't risk it. Go to Amy instead, who offers great value cover you won't regret. Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by AAI Limited Trading as Amy, read the PDS at amy.com.au. TMD also available.
Great news from Dave Benson Caravans. They have just secured the brand new range of Cedar Caravans. Cedar Caravans are 100% Australian made and offer premium quality couple vans, bunk vans and off-road vans. And the best part? They are all ready for delivery right now. Yep, no waiting. So get your caravan sooner and start your holiday journey in a new 100% Aussie made Cedar Caravan. Exclusive to Dave Benson Caravans, where your adventure begins. 64 Grand Junction Road, Kilburn.
At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free, no deposit finance from Latitude and receive a bonus gift card up to $1,000. Shop furniture, bedding, computers and technology, TVs and entertainment and more. That's 60 months interest-free, no deposit, no interest from Latitude with 60 approximately equal monthly payments and receive a bonus gift card up to $1,000. Finance only available if you have or are approved for a participating Latitude credit card. Minimum finance amount $1,000. See T's and C's. Interest applies for non-compliance. Fees and product exclusions apply. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go!
Electricity bill!
Bills shouldn't be scary. EcoVantage have supplied energy efficiency in homes for over 15 years. They can install hot water systems that use up to 80% less electricity than regular hot water systems. Help the environment while you save hundreds. And thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you could get your energy efficient hot water system supplied and installed for as little as no cost to you. Stop scary hot water bills with ecovantage.com.au.
Phil Hoffman Travel invites you to explore the Northern Territory with Outback Spirit. Travel in style and comfort off the beaten track with knowledgeable guides that make every expedition an enlightening and unforgettable experience. Journey through the heart of Arnhem Land on an exclusive 13-day small group tour and immerse yourself in the world's oldest surviving culture, or join the 6-day Red Centre Spectacular from Alice Springs to Uluru. The Northern Territory is different in every sense. Phil Hoffman Travel. Visit pht.com.au.
Hi, Susanna Toop here from Toop and Toop. Landlords, we've got some exciting news. Toop and Toop have just launched a brand new solution that gives you exclusive access to pre-screened tenants up to 2 months in advance. You can secure quality tenants and save yourself hundreds of dollars in advertising costs. This new innovation is a total game changer for landlords. At Toop and Toop, you can find your next tenant sooner. To tap into this incredible network, simply head to toop.com.au or give us a call today.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Just this week, we've seen a rise in girl gangs committing crimes around the state. On Monday, 2 teenage girls were arrested after a fire in Modbury. Witnesses said that they saw 2 girls running away from the scene just after the fire started. Then on Tuesday night, 4 teenage girls were arrested after allegedly stealing a car from a Modbury shopping centre. Joining us is Dr. Barbara Spears, adjunct professor at Uni of South Australia, specialising in youth bullying and also mental health. Barbara, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Robin.
Well, these incidents are just this week. Do you think we have a problem with our female youths in South Australia?
Oh, it sounds like it, doesn't it? But in reality, girls' aggression and those sorts of acting out behaviours have always been there, but perhaps we're just more aware of it now through social media and technology than we've ever had before. So I think we need to put it into some sort of context, and certainly understanding about the social mores of the time and how we are acting as a society about what we accept and what we don't.
Well, I think that's probably the big one there. I mean, you know, what we do accept and what children or young teenagers think is okay and not okay. And I think that's where we really do need to educate them.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we know, for example, that girls' aggression against other girls tends to be indirect and relational, so they'll use other people to spread rumours and get nasty and attack each other. But in terms of being physically aggressive and physical violence and acting out in those more overt ways, we certainly have seen this always across all levels of society in all cultures. So it's not new, but it's perhaps more in our focus than we've ever had before.
What drives girls into a gang?
That's a really difficult question, and the underlying notion is a sense of belonging and connectedness. In the same way that they want to join any other group, there is something that's being provided to them that they feel accepted and they feel a sense of belonging and connectedness to it. Now, sometimes that is the same positive stuff that we would have joining any other club. But when you join a gang, you're probably joining a whole group of people that are more antisocial than usual. So it's those antisocial norms that come into play. And so they fit into those antisocial norms. So there's a lot of coercion perhaps involved, particularly when girls join boys' gangs. There's a lot of sexual violence and sexual coercion that might be occurring. There's a lot of debt, you owe me something, so therefore you have to do this to fit in. So there's quite complicated group dynamics. But the basic premise is a sense of belonging and connectedness. And we all know that old saying about there is honour amongst thieves. So even amongst thieves and antisocial groups, there is a hierarchy and a set of criteria for belonging.
What needs to be done? Is a lot of this to be blamed on COVID? I mean, we're hearing a lot of reports and research coming out about our teens that, that not being connected has had a huge effect, mental health and that sense of belonging. Are you getting that feedback as well?
I think what we have to recognise is that this is not a simple problem with a simple answer.
No.
This is what we would call a wicked problem, and a wicked problem really is about a combination of elements. So it is linked with, social social health, it's linked with mental health, it's linked with obviously COVID and isolation, it's linked with poverty, it's linked with a whole range of issues. So it's not a simple matter of any one thing being put into place. Firstly, awareness raising is a big one. Secondly, then looking at what are the local communities, understandings of what it means to be a member of that community and society. So we need to be working as a community around this.
Thank you so much for joining the program. That is Dr. Barbara Spears there from University of South Australia. That is a wrap for today's show. Rowey Sports Show is coming up next. Thanks so much for spending your afternoon with us here on 5AA. Have a great afternoon, and I look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow.
Introducing the Wheels Car of the Year, the fully electric Kia EV6. Leading the charge with over 500 kilometres of driving range, newfound levels of technology, performance, build quality, refinement